What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin at the request of Mr. Kevin K. Jr. A. Kevin, we're doing this one for you, and we're going to do a specific video today, guys. It's going to be a little bit of a different tone. We're going to talk about the potential all-time high for Bitcoin this cycle. I've made a few videos on this in the last year. It's been a little while, so why not talk about it? Yes, I've been a pretty solid bear over the past couple weeks now, and I'm going to maintain that position for probably the next month or two. But in the long term, I'm a long-term bull for sure. We can all be friends and accept the fact that Bitcoin will be worth millions of dollars in its lifetime, in our lifetimes, right? It's going to be worth multiple millions of dollars. By the end of this cycle, I don't think it'll be worth $1 million, but I do think, I'm going to cut right to the chase, I do think that it has a chance of seeing prices right around $500,000, if not just below it. And I know that that sounds crazy. Bitcoin does crazy things, man. It really does. So buckle up. We're in for a wild ride tonight. So here it is. We're going to use the Fibonacci retracement tool right here. Going to measure from the first cycle high to the first cycle low, right? This was the all-time highs from the very first bull cycle and then the cycle lows from the very first bear cycle. This is the Fibonacci retracement tool. Here are your retracements. These are extensions based off of the cycle highs to cycle lows. We found our next cycle high, right? The next bull cycle high at the 2272, just a little bit above it, you know, albeit just a little bit above it, but right around there. Right around there. We're going to take the next cycle high now, okay? Right here. Cycle high to cycle low. The next all-time high went again right around the 2272. Just above it again, but right around there. To a T, right? Perfect, beautiful. Now, the previous cycle we had, again, we're going to take cycle high to cycle low. That's not it. Previous cycle was a bit mild. It was a bit held back. And I think there are multiple reasons for that, but we still saw a 1618 extension and just a little bit above that too, okay? So we have an idea of what is normal based off of only 3 cycles, and then what was the one abnormal one. That was a 1618 is the golden extension. That's pretty good, right? Look it up. The Fibonacci tool, 618 is the golden ratio. Golden ratio not just in like charts, but in life. In life, in flowers and trees, in those little spiral seashells that you see, fossils, stuff like that, the spirals in our galaxy. The 61.8 ratio is the golden ratio to the universe. It's not just in charts, okay? It's a very significant number, and we hit that extension. But the reason why I believe we didn't see the 2272, and I very much think this bull run was held back from that, is for a few reasons. We had all kinds of things going on, right? We had, at the end of this year, we had the Ukrainian and Russian conflict beginning. We had, you know, the aftermath of COVID. This bull run happened literally 2020. It's COVID-19, but really COVID, the economic shutdown of the world, happened in 2020, and that was right in the middle of the bull market. We had inflation at all-time highs. Not all-time highs. I mean, there were a lot of countries that were at highs, man. The U.S. I know was at like 8 to 9% inflation. I forget if it was higher than that, but really high inflation that we haven't seen in a long time, right? And beyond all that, there's one more thing that I want to go over too, which I will go over at the end. But I just want to say right there, and we had presidents changing, right? We had from Trump to Biden, and you know, you can think whatever you want about that. I'm not going to get political, but facts are facts. In my opinion, we saw more growth, economically speaking, in the markets with Trump. We saw a lot more downside in the markets with Biden. Gas prices were a lot higher with Biden. Gas prices went high with Trump too. You know, things go in cycles. Everyone wants to blame it on certain presidents. But again, I'm not trying to get political, but I think we can all agree that times have not been good, economically speaking, since Joe Biden's been in the White House. So hopefully with this upcoming election, we can get somebody else in there who maybe can be a better figurehead for the economy and for the markets overall. Something that can promote some bullish stuff going on. But I'm not going to get political. I'm really going to try not to get political. But all I can say is I'm ready. I hope you're ready for Joe Biden to get out of the office. Anyways, back to the charts. 1618 extension. And I'm going to come back as to why I think we were held back here, okay? And why I think we're not going to be held back this cycle. Why I think we're actually going to see a stronger market this cycle. From top to bottom here, the 1618 is all the way up there. The smallest extension we've seen, the golden ratio, the golden extension on this fib from cycle high to cycle low, is at $173, almost $174,000. In fact, each time we've gone a little bit above those extensions, right? So probably around $174,000. The 2272. is all the way up here at $462,000. And yes, most times we have gone a little bit above that. What is just a little bit above that? You can see it right there, right? Look at the number, $500,000, $500,000 by the end of the cycle. It's possible. Maybe we fall just shy of that. But nonetheless, I very much think this is where we're going. I very much do think this is where we're going. And I want to point something else out, okay? I want to go over this real quick, because this is something that people are going to say that are probably who are contrary to this idea are going to throw this fact out there, and it's a very legitimate fact. But I want to bring something up in contrast to that, okay? But I want to show you what I'm talking about. We had 62,000% growth, phenomenal, from the first low to high. I mean, technically, right, from all the way down here, I mean, way more. I'm not even going to measure that number, but you can see from this low to high, very tremendous growth. This low to high, a lot of tremendous growth as well, but significantly less. 62,000%, bro. Insane. Bottom to top here, 12,124%. Significantly less, but still phenomenal. And then this cycle, again, significantly less from low to high, but 2,100% on a multi-hundred billion. It was even worth over $1 trillion at one point asset. That's still phenomenal in a very short amount of time, relatively speaking, compared to any other asset that's even remotely close to this valuation and market cap. Now, what I want to go over is the idea. A lot of people are going to say, hold on now. If it's decreasing, then there's no way that we could see this thing being worth more than 2,100, because that would break this trend that we have, right? And I'll just throw this down here, right? From this very first low, the all-time low, technically on this chart, to that high, we've done nothing from cycle to cycle but decrease in growth. So going all the way up to 460K, that's where the 2272 is, roughly like right there, close enough. That's at about a 2,800% growth, which is 700% more than the previous cycle. And yes, that does conflict with the idea that we're seeing diminishing returns. But again, last cycle, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions who've been around in crypto for a while, was held back tremendously. Okay, we had the Bitcoin Pro Shares ETFs come out. We had a change of presidents. We had COVID. We had the Ukrainian and Russian conflict, which is still going on. The one thing that I think beyond all that is like dictating money and how things move around is money itself. Okay, and let's look at this. Talking about money, if we go to the DXY, we go to the U.S. dollar currency index. Okay. Everybody talks about the dollar going to zero. It's not going to zero. You ever want to talk to somebody about the dollar going to zero, pull up this chart, show them that we've been in a solid uptrend since the housing crisis of 2008. We have literally been in an uptrend. You can see it clear as day, higher lows, higher highs. Okay, and what I want to show you is we have these phases where from the low to the high, right, we expanded. We had a rapid expansion, okay? Then we consolidated. Then we had another rapid expansion. Then we consolidated. Then we had another rapid expansion. When was this last rapid expansion? Well, the end of it was September of 2022. The beginning of it, arguably, was May of 2021. When did the last bull cycle end for Bitcoin? It ended in November of 2021. So this expansion phase happened literally in the middle of the bull run. And I want to show you how significant that is, actually. I want to show you. I've shown this on a video previously, but I want to go. I don't know what just happened. I'm going to compare it again. No, okay. I really don't know what just happened, actually. I'm in log. What's going on? What is happening here? Sorry, guys. We're going to compare it one more time to BTC all-time history index, new price scale. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to throw this in log as well. Logarithmic. Okay. So this chart only goes back this far for Bitcoin because Bitcoin wasn't in existence before like 2008, the end of 2008, and it really wasn't like first really available to trade for people for money until like 2009. But anyways, enough of that. What I'm trying to show you is the difference in the chart here. Okay, so you can see the first expansion that we had in the dollar since we've been in this uptrend, right? Because we found the bottom here in 2008. We've been in an uptrend in the dollar since then. Higher lows, higher highs, and yes, I think we're on trajectory to see a higher low. We're probably going to go down, but still form a higher low. This expansion happened and it ended before Bitcoin's inception, before it was even available. Well, I guess not before its inception, but before it was charted out here. Okay, before the first bull rally. We were in this consolidation phase, and in it there were times where it went down. There were times when I say it, I mean the dollar went up, right, in valuation. For those of you that don't know, the DXY is an index comparing the dollar's value versus every world currency recognized by governments, right? Every like country's currency. Anyways, it was in its consolidation phase throughout this whole bull cycle, okay, whole bull cycle here. And then the cycle topped off here whenever the dollar bottomed out. Okay, it didn't expand, but still, it wasn't expanding. And look at that, we had our bear cycle, and then boom, next bull cycle, still not expanding, still in this accumulation phase. Then we had the bear market here happen. When did this bear market happen? It happened during an accumulation phase for the dollar. Look at that, we were finding our lows at the top here. Then we consolidated with the dollar again. And what happened when we started to do that, when we stopped expanding? Well, Bitcoin went on a run. It went on a bull run, man. It really did. And whenever the dollar bottomed out, that's when Bitcoin topped out. And then it didn't expand. It was still consolidating, but it moved up. Bitcoin moved down, right? It went through its bear market. It found its low down here. Dollar was still moving up a little bit, and then it moved down, right? Whenever it started to move down is when Bitcoin really expanded. But for the first time ever, because this was in the middle of the bull market, you guys, the dollar actually started to expand again. It started to expand. It got done with its contraction phase and it started to expand. Right at the tail end, when Bitcoin is its most strong, that's whenever the expansion phase started for the dollar. I want to measure these now that we have that out of the way. I want to measure these by time. And for those of you who have seen these videos before, you're like, you're just making the same thing? Yes, I am, because I've got a lot of new subscribers. Maybe some of you haven't seen this. Actually, not from the time of expansion, but from the time of like the first top to where we started to consolidate, right? And then to where we broke out again. That was 68 months. 68 months. Here we are again from this top to like where we started to expand again. That was 74 months. 68 to 74 months right there, okay? Here we are right now from this top, from when we were done expanding to where we are now, we're at 17 months. The Bitcoin bull market is projected to end sometime in late 2025. Let's put this all the way to 2026 right here. That's 40 months. The dollar, I think it's safe to say, will still, by estimation of this trend, how we've been doing it, 68, 74, that's pretty close. Like in the grand scope of things, I know, don't get me wrong, 6 months is a long time for a lot of people. Especially in crypto, a lot of people don't like 6 months is a long time, but really in the grand scope of things, compared to 68 months to 74, that's pretty damn close to each other. In my opinion, it's pretty damn close to each other. 40 months to me doesn't do it. That doesn't do it to me. I do think that the dollar is going to be consolidating before it sees its next expansion phase until sometime in 2028, maybe at the very end of 2027, but it won't see its next expansion phase until 2028 or later. It might be, or I guess it would probably be sometime in 2028, wouldn't it? Maybe early 2028 or late 2028. At the earliest, late 2027 is what I'm thinking. So the difference of this bull market compared to last bull market, full circle now, is that we do not have the dollar in our way. We don't have that in our way, especially during the most bullish time. Again, the dollar started to move up. It was March or May, I forget, of 2021, right? And that was like right in the midst of our strongest move in the bull market, guys. We were held back. I think it was March, wasn't it? Let's see. I mean, that's when we found our bottom was June. Yeah, January was technically the low, and then we started to break out in June here. Here we are in June right there, moving down. Yeah, at the end of the bull market, when things are normally the strongest out of the whole cycle, right? In the shortest amount of time, they're the strongest. We were held back. We're not going to have that this time. So again, if we were held back, my assumption would be that from low to high, we're going to see a stronger bull market than we saw last cycle. We're going to see a stronger bull market. If that is how strong it was last time with COVID, with change of presidencies, with the Ukrainian-Russian war conflict going on beginning, all kinds of like different things in the world that were leaving people guessing themselves whether like the economy, the markets were going to do well. That uncertainty is never good for the markets. I think I said COVID, but maybe I didn't say COVID. Inflation, all this stuff. We don't have that now. It's most of that stuff, don't get me wrong, is still going on, right? The Ukrainian-Russian war is still going on. Joe Biden is still president. We have the Israeli and Palestinian war. That's been a conflict for longer than any of us have been alive, though. As I'm not trying to throw shade or insult it or play it down like it's nothing. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Absolutely, it is. But it's not new. It's not new. It really isn't new. This is a conflict that's been going on since before probably any of us were born. Anybody who's watching this. So again, just in my opinion, we don't have all these things, all these like new obstacles that are coming in our way, and we don't have the dollar, most importantly, holding us back because Bitcoin is based in dollars. So what's good for the dollar by default is not good for Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. There are times when the dollar goes up and Bitcoin goes up too. There are times when the dollar goes down and Bitcoin goes down too. The DXY and the dollar both on this month, on the very last month where Bitcoin bottomed here, they both went down. But what I'm trying to get to is I think we'll see a stronger cycle than the last cycle. If we saw a 2100% cycle, this cycle from low to high, that would already take us above 340 grand. Or around 340, right? I've got it a little bit higher than that, whatever. Come on now. 21, I'm trying here. Close enough, whatever. 340 grand, okay? The 2272 has been true to us every cycle except for the one cycle where the dollar was expanding at the end of where we were supposed to show our strength. It was literally expanding there. And I just wonder, I actually haven't looked at this. I want to see real quick. Top to bottom. If we went where I believe we should have gone, and I say should have gone, who knows, we might not have ever gone. That would have been a 6,500% growth if we didn't get held back, and I very much do think we got held back. Seeing that 2272 from this cycle, I know, guys, I've got so many lines. I'm going to take them away here in a second. Don't get worried. Right, because that's where the 2272 was from this high to low here. The 2272 for this cycle is all the way up here. That's a 2,800%. That would be diminishing returns, right? That would be diminishing returns. But we didn't get there. We got held back. And at a minimum, let's say you're like, phooey, C-Zar. I don't believe anything you're saying. None of this stands true. I don't believe you. Okay. Well, the minimum at the 1272 here is at 100 grand. The 1618, the smallest extension we've seen so far in Bitcoin's history, is still at 173 grand. That is immense growth compared to where we are now. But nonetheless, guys, all that said, besides that little like maybe we don't go to the 2272 at the end, I think it very much makes sense that we're going to see prices all the way up here at $462,000, higher than that even. What is just above that? $500,000. Very strong psychological resistance. I'm sure we'll have all kinds of people saying we're going to $1 million, and it's just not going to happen. We're going to be held down at half that price, but still phenomenal growth. And what's awesome about that is with Bitcoin right now being worth $42,766, you can see a 10x, over a 10x in growth with Bitcoin. Crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. And that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. I hope you're as jacked as I am about the coming cycle, man. I really do hope that these ETFs getting approved don't mess up anything. You guys have probably heard my theories on that as well. That's the one thing that I think could upset things a little bit. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's just a catalyst for this current consolidation phase that we're going to be in for the next half a year or so. I do believe that Bitcoin is going to consolidate and be boring more or less for the next it's going to move down, so it's not going to be boring. It's going to be probably upsetting for the next month or two, and then it'll be boring for a couple months after that, and then we probably won't break this high, the current high that we have at 49K, until July or later of this year, till the second half of 2024. I know that's not encouraging, but it should be, because that means that you're going to have an opportunity to buy Bitcoin at cheaper prices. You're going to have a longer opportunity to buy Bitcoin at these prices where you can again see a 10x by the end of the cycle with the most secure probable crypto to go up and not get rug pulled. That's all I got. Hit that like button, subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.